Look at him bring the football. Oh, he's going to do it. Right into the middle of the star. Puts the football.
Today, the National Football League operates on many hard and fast rules that the teams need to follow on the field. But did you know? Many of these rules came into place due to the actions of certain NFL players, and not because the NFL officials thought of them. So, in this video, we're rounding up 10 NFL players responsible for rule changes in the league. Number 8. Brett Favre. Even after 11 years of his retirement from the sport, Brett Favre remains a favorite quarterback of the Green Bay Packers for many reasons. He took the Packers to play 2 Super Bowls and led his team to win the 31st finals in the year 1997. He entered the NFL Hall of Fame by becoming the first and the only player to win 3 consecutive AD MVP awards. Other than leading the passing touchdowns in the NFL for 4 record times, he's known for his iconic celebration on the field upon scoring a touchdown. One time, he also tried to celebrate his successful passing touchdown with a match referee, but his most famous celebration came on the victorious eve of the 31st Super Bowl, when he guided the Packers to a 35-21 victory over the New England Patriots. After scoring a touchdown, Brett Favre iconically removed his helmet to flash off the field. After all, he had brought the Packers a Super Bowl win after their win in 1968, while the Packers were busy enjoying their glorious win over the Patriots. The NFL committee was busy doing something else. During the 1997 offseason, the NFL banned the players to remove their helmet on the field, especially after scoring a touchdown. Number 7. Emmitt Smith. According to the Football League, it's unsportsmanlike for the players to remove their helmets during a celebration or a confrontation on the field. The league maintained that players removing their helmets is taunting in nature, and the post-play confrontations can become more dangerous if the removed helmets were used. This rule, however, came to be known as the Emmitt Smith rule. Even when Brett's touchdown celebration prompted the introduction of the rule, it was Emmitt Smith's routine habit of taking off his helmet that bothered the NFL in the first place. So, you can say that the "don't remove your helmet on the field" rule is a joint effort of the Packers and the Cowboy Stars. Number 6. Deacon Jones. The legendary Deacon Jones is known to be the first pass rusher to perfect the infamous move in the NFL that we now know as the head slap. The head slap refers to the move when Deacon Jones would use one or both of his forearms to rattle the blocker's helmet to give himself an initial head start for the pass rush. Deacon's use of his head slap and the other variety of his defensive line moves made him one of the best pass rushers during the 1960s and the 1970s NFL era. Now here's the thing, if you're one of those who despise any display of brutality on the defense line of the NFL, there are a few things you need to reconsider. The 60s and the 70s were the lawless years of the Football League, when moves like horse collar tackles and below the knees crackback blocks were allowed. So, Deacon was only using the violent element of the football that he was allowed to use. Eventually, several humane changes were made to the rules of football. In doing so, the NFL promptly banned the use of head slap moves for Deacon Jones and the future football players. Number 5. Chad Johnson. The joy of scoring a touchdown is infectious, and no one knows this better than the American football wide receiver, Chad Johnson. In 2005, when Johnson was playing for the Bengals, he scored a major touchdown for the team, and his celebration was unconventional to say the least. He ran the cheerleader squad of the Bengals, who were busy celebrating the touchdown for their team, and chose one of the cheerleaders to supposedly propose to her. The cheerleader played along and said yes to Johnson's proposal. Even though unordinary in nature, Johnson's idea of celebration became an instant hit. After all, it was unique and harmless in nature. The NFL thought otherwise. According to the league, those extravagant celebrations hurt the sportsmanship standards of the NFL and are insulting to the opponent team. Plus, to celebrate on the ground is unruly. After a series of similar, unconventional celebrations by the players like Terrell Owens and Joe Horn, the NFL unruled celebrating on the field. Number 4. Joe Horn and Michael Lewis. After Joe Horn of the New Orleans Saints was successful in catching the second of the 4th touchdown passes against the New York Giants, he was the happiest man on earth. Joe Horn was so impatient to tell his mom about his impressive achievement for the Saints that he called her right from the field. Yep, Michael Thomas isn't the first one to pull off a cell phone celebration. In the case of Joe Horn, his teammate, Michael Lewis, handed him a flip phone that was stashed under the padding that's used to protect the goalpost. Horn didn't even bother to remove his helmet and dialed his mom's number to celebrate his iconic TD with his family. And the phone call lasted for a good few seconds. To explain his unique form of celebration, Joe Horn said, and we quote, "I had told my kids to be at home, watching the game, and I told my mama, Mom, if I scored the second one, I'm gonna get my cell phone out There's no doubt that the fans couldn't stop talking about his signature celebration on the field, but the NFL officials and the Saints coach, Jim Houslett, didn't appreciate Horn's celebration as much. Right after the phone call, Horn was confronted by the Saints coach, who labels his actions to be against sportsman spirit. The league's committee then proceeded to strengthen the prohibition of an on-field celebration rule to also include the use of props during celebration. But NFL rules haven't stopped the players to have their go on the TD celebrations. Recently, Michael Lewis of the Saints copied the cell phone celebration of Joe Horn, and let's get honest, the fans loved it. Number 3. Roy Williams. As an NFL fan, you must have watched the horse collar tackle compilation videos on YouTube. Even though the NFL defenders loved this move, it was obvious that it was causing opponents more harm than intended. As per the horse collar tackle, the defender tackles its opponents by grabbing the inside of their back collar or the backside of their shoulders pad. Then, the ball carriers are forced to violently yield downwards as they are swept off their feet. In 2016, the NFL officials expanded the rule to also include the grabbing of the jersey or pulling of the nameplate area under the horse collar tackle move, when the league operated freely with no set of rules and regulations. The horse collar tackle was the favorite maneuver for the defenders, but when the Dallas Cowboys safety, Roy Williams, caused major injuries in the league, the NFL knew it was time to stop this brutal defensive move. The immediate response came when Williams ended up breaking the leg of Terrell Owens of the Eagles. After this major incident, the NFL outlawed the horse collar tackle once and for all. Number 2. Adam Jones and Joey Porter. Not sure if you should blame Antonio Brown or the Steelers' assistant Joey Porter for the introduction of the next rule, but now everyone in the NFL has to follow it. Yep, we're talking about the no coaches on the field rule of the NFL. In the 2016 NFL wildcard playoff game, the Steelers were playing the Bengals when Antonio Brown was injured in the fourth quarter. The linebackers coach for the Steelers, Joey Porter, stormed onto the field while the medics were evaluating Brown. It was clear that Porter was angry at the illegal tackle of Brown by the Bengal linebacker, Vontaze Burfict. There's no doubt that Porter's anger was well placed, but Burfict had been penalized a total of 30 yards by the match referee. On the field, Joey Porter started to provoke the Bengals Cincinnati cornerback, Adam Jones, for a personal foul, and that worked out the way Joey Porter wanted. As Adam Jones indulged into an on-field skirmish with Porter, he earned the Bengals a 15-yard penalty, which gave the Steelers an unbeatable lead in the game. Porter was also fined $10,000 for breaking the NFL field rules. After this incident, the NFL was prompted to modify its no coaches on the field rule to include that only the head coaches of the team could be on the field only to check on injured players. This rule had been implied in the NFL since years, but the Joey Porter incident codified the rule for good. Number 1. Bronco Nagurski. Till 1932, all players were required to be thrown from at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The NFL players had internalized this rule until Bronco Nagurski decided to change the passing game once and for all. During a playoff game, Nagurski faked a run into the line of scrimmage, and the Spartans accused him of not being 5 yards behind the line. It was clear that Nagurski had cheated for his team to win the game, but this incident provided a fresh perspective to the NFL officials. They understood that the 5-yard was a limitation for the game overall, so the new rules dictates that the passes can be thrown from anywhere behind the line of scrimmage. Who knew that one NFL player would be the architect of the famous passing game we know today? It's a wrap for the 10 NFL players responsible for the rule changes. Which of these original stories of the NFL rules are the most interesting? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your fellow NFL fanatics. See you all with the next one.